In the world of the UFC, nothing gets fans out of their seats faster than a devastating knockout. Whether it's a perfectly timed punch, a flying knee, or a spinning kick out of nowhere, these moments define careers and become instant legends. Over the years, the UFC has delivered some of the most jaw-dropping knockouts in combat sports history, moments that live on in highlight reels and fan memories forever. In this list, we're counting down the top 10 UFC knockouts of all time, showcasing the raw power, precision, and pure unpredictability that make MMA such an electrifying sport. Welcome back to Sports Apex, your go-to spot for all things sports. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on the latest updates, analysis, and behind-the-scenes action. Now let's count down the top 10 most brutal knockouts in UFC history. Let's get into it. Number 10. Jiří Procházka silences Dominic Reyes. Back on May 1st, 2021, at the UFC Apex in Las Vegas, Jiří Procházka introduced himself to the UFC masses in the most brutal fashion imaginable. Facing Dominic Reyes in just his second UFC fight, Procházka brought his unorthodox, striking, and samurai energy into the cage. The fight was electric from the start, but it ended with a spinning back elbow that cracked Reyes on the jaw and sent him plummeting face-first to the canvas. That finish didn't just earn Jiří Performance of the Night and Fight of the Night honors. It became the standard for savagery in the light heavyweight division. Number 9. Israel Adesanya gets his revenge on Alex Pereira. Fast forward to April 8th, 2023, at the Casillas Center in Miami, where Israel Adesanya entered UFC 287 on a mission. After multiple losses to Alex Pereira, 2 in kickboxing and 1 TKO in MMA, Adesanya wasn't just fighting for a title, he was fighting for redemption. In the second round, with his back to the cage, Stylebender uncorked a thunderous right hand that put Pereira out cold. He followed up with a hammer fist, and then let loose a flurry of symbolic arrows and trash talk, mocking Pereira's past victories and even taunting his son. The drama, the history, the build-up, this was more than a KO. It was a cinematic conclusion to a bitter rivalry. Number 8. Leon Edwards shocks the world against Kamaru Usman. On August 20th, 2022, at the Vivint Arena in Salt Lake City, Utah, Leon Edwards looked to be headed toward another frustrating loss to Kamaru Usman. For 4 rounds, Usman imposed his will, dominating with takedowns and control. But with just under a minute left in the 5th round, Edwards listened to his coach's passionate plea to stop being bullied. And then, out of nowhere, he landed a perfect left high kick that turned Usman's lights out. It wasn't just a knockout, it was a storybook finish. Rocky proved the doubters wrong with one of the most technically perfect and emotionally satisfying knockouts in UFC history. Number 7. Holly Holm ends the Ronda Rousey era. November 15, 2015, at the massive Docklands Stadium in Melbourne, Australia, marked a seismic shift in women's MMA. Ronda Rousey, unbeaten and seemingly untouchable, faced the quiet and calculated Holly Holm at UFC 193. Holm used her world-class boxing and kickboxing skills to pick Rousey apart. In the second round, Holm delivered a thunderous head kick that dropped Rousey and signaled the end of her dominance. As fists rained down, the world witnessed a new champion rise and a legend fall. Holm's kick wasn't just the KO of the year. It changed the entire trajectory of the women's division. Number 6. Edson Barboza spins Terry Etam into the history books. On January 14, 2012, inside the HSBC Arena in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, Edson Barboza etched his name into UFC folklore. In the final round of a striking masterclass against Terry Etam at UFC 142, Barboza threw a spinning wheel kick so clean, so powerful, that Etam froze mid-fall before crumpling to the mat. It was the kind of move you only see in video games, except this was real, and it was terrifyingly effective. Barboza's composure after the KO made it even more chilling. This finish remains one of the most spectacular knockouts the Octagon has ever seen. Number 5. Corey Sandhagen flatlines Frankie Edgar. February 6th, 2021, at the UFC Apex in Las Vegas was the night Corey Sandhagen made a statement at UFC Fight Night. Overeem versus Volkov. Facing the battle-tested Frankie Edgar, Sandhagen needed less than a round to land a perfectly timed flying knee that shut the lights out immediately. Edgar collapsed before he even knew what hit him. The sound of the impact echoed through the eerily quiet pandemic-era Apex. The win skyrocketed Sandhagen's stock and served as a harsh reminder of how cruel the sport can be, even to legends like Edgar. Number 4. Joaquin Buckley goes full ninja on Impa Kasanganay. October 11th, 2020, at the Do Forum in Abu Dhabi, Joaquin Buckley pulled off what many call the greatest knockout in UFC history. At UFC Fight Night, Marais vs. Sandhagen, Impa Kasanganay caught Buckley's foot mid-kick, thinking he had control. But Buckley defied physics and logic by spinning and launching his free foot into Kasanganay's jaw with freakish precision. It was like something out of a kung fu movie. Kasanganay dropped like a statue, and Buckley had officially arrived as a human highlight reel. The clip went viral globally, and Dana White declared it the most unbelievable KO I've ever seen. Number 3. Jorge Masvidal's 5-second destruction of Ben Askren. July 6, 2019, at UFC 239 inside the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Jorge Masvidal pulled off a KO that literally changed his life. After weeks of trash talk, Masvidal sprinted across the cage and launched a flying knee into Ben Askren's skull. Askren never had a chance. He was out cold before he hit the ground. Masvidal added a few unnecessary hammer fists just to make a statement. It was all over in 5 seconds, the fastest finish in UFC history. Number 2. Max Holloway breaks Justin Gaethje at UFC 300. On April 13, 2024, during the megacard UFC 300 at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Max Holloway reminded everyone why he's one of the sport's most beloved fighters. In a 5-round war with Justin Gaethje, Holloway pieced him up with volume and heart, leading to an unforgettable final exchange. With 10 seconds left, Holloway pointed to the ground and invited Gaethje to slug it out. In a flurry of chaos, Holloway landed a picture-perfect right hand that crumpled Gaethje face-first at the buzzer. The crowd exploded, and Holloway, bloodied and triumphant, claimed the BMF title. It was beautiful violence at its finest. Number 1. Francis Ngannou sends Overeem to the Shadow Realm. December 2nd, 2017, at UFC 218 in Detroit's Little Caesars Arena, Francis Ngannou delivered a knockout so savage it looked like something out of a horror movie. Alistair Overeem ducked straight into an uppercut that looked like it came from the gods. His head snapped back unnaturally, and he collapsed to the canvas like a lifeless puppet. The crowd gasped. Ngannou didn't even break a sweat. That punch didn't just knock Overeem out. It announced Ngannou's arrival as the scariest heavyweight on earth. And there you have it, the 10 most ruthless, unforgettable knockouts in UFC history. Each of these moments defined careers, changed divisions, and gave us goosebumps. Whether it was a flying knee, a spinning elbow, or a thunderous uppercut, these fighters left their mark in the most devastating way possible. If you love this countdown, make sure you to subscribe to Sports Apex for more engaging content, so you're always in the loop when we break down the wild world of MMA. Which knockout shook you the most? Drop your favorite KO in the comments below. We're reading all of them. Stay savage, and we'll catch you in the next round.